Okay, Jose Mourinho has been sacked by Man United. I'm kind of surprised it's taken this long, actually. The lack of transfer activity in the summer, with only really signing Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk and Lee Grant, a goalkeeper, as a backup from Stoke, says a lot. Now, in his total time at Man United, he has signed a lot of players, around £300 million worth of players. Um, However, they didn't get the transfers they wanted in the summer. Yerry Mina is a prime example. He went to Everton, right underneath Man United's nose. So Mourinho and Ed Woodward, the chairman or vice chairman, I believe, are at loggerheads, and Mourinho's criticised transfer policy. Um, he's basically been at war with the media as well and his players. He regularly throws his players under the bus. At the end of the day, it's the manager's tactics and the players. I think he's lost the players. His battles, his public spat with Paul Pogba and Martial, and some of his other key players, I think, has done him. Antonio Valencia, Man United stalwart, been at the club for over a decade. He's a senior player. He's fallen out with him as well. So there are issues within Man United. He's not getting the best out of these players. They've got worse. The fact they're 19 points behind Liverpool, that's exactly the same amount of points where they finished second last year to Man City. That's how second best they were last year. They're not second this year. They are far behind Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal, and Spurs, and Chelsea. All those clubs are far ahead of them. Um, they've lost a lot of ground. They've got worse. There are other clubs in the battle around them, such as Everton and Bournemouth and Watford and Wolves. Wolves are a promoted club, and they are looking more likely to get a European space than Man United right now. They're outside the European places. They're out the League Cup to Derby, an embarrassing defeat to Frank Lampard's Derby. So an inexperienced young manager and a Championship club have knocked them out of the League Cup. There were rumours earlier in the season that Zidane was lined up to replace Mourinho. Um, I think those rumours will now go into overdrive. But the thing is, they've got a limited time before the transfer window opens. I think it's like 14 days or something like that. 14, 15 days until the transfer window opens. So there's limited time in which to get a guy in place, make sure they can add to the squad and sell players off if need be. Um, this is quite something. The defeat to Liverpool was, highlights how far they've slipped down the table and how far they've declined. Under Mourinho, all they've won is the Europa League a couple of seasons ago, and they were runners up in the worst FA Cup final I've ever seen. They were second. They lost to Chelsea in May in the worst FA Cup final I've ever seen, and they after that semi-final win against Tottenham, where they came from behind, they showed some fight. They showed nothing in that FA Cup final. They are so inconsistent. Ironically, Mourinho's win percentage is only just below Sir Alex Ferguson's. I think 58%, and Fergie's was at like 59%. So he's better than Louis van Gaal. He's better than David Moyes, but he's not lasted 4 seasons. I would have been surprised if he was there next season anyway. But there were calls to have Mourinho sacked much earlier in the season. The negative press is obviously Ed Woodward and the Glazer family have seen the negative comments and negative press and the social media comments, mostly negative. Um, and the Glazer family aren't ones for acting knee-jerk reaction. They've thought about this for quite some time. I think the fact that Mourinho is having FA charges against him and battles with the media and an open spat with his players, I think the Glazer family have gone. We have to act. I think other shake-ups will happen at Man United within the next 6 months to a year. I do believe that. But Mourinho, I think, had to go. He was strangling the joy out of the club. I mean, I've never seen players look so demotivated to play. They looked very low on morale, very low on confidence, and he's paid the price with his negative attitude. He seems to be always playing the victim. Um, the battles with the media and then undermining his players in the media and throwing them under the bus. I think has nailed it for him. I think his negative performances on the pitch and struggling to beat Southampton, I think was possibly where the decision was made. The Liverpool game summed up the situation. Southampton were unlucky not to win that game against Man United. They've decided to change manager, and it's already had a positive impact on that club. And that did for Mark Hughes, not winning that game. I think that's also done for Mourinho. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Mourinho's gone. I think Zidane is obviously back in the mix to replace him, but they've got to find an interim manager as soon as possible because they've got game this weekend. They do have to, get a manager in place permanently by the transfer window, and that's not actually that far away. We're only 5 days before Christmas, 6 days before Christmas, a week before Christmas, something like that. They need to get a manager in place before the Boxing Day game and going into the transfer window. So that's their next objective, is to find a manager. I wouldn't be surprised if Man United already have a manager lined up. But in the short term, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an interim manager in place for the weekend's game. But there we go. Man United have sacked Mourinho. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.